So for those of you homesteaders, you've probably heard of Justin Rhodes. He's a really good homesteader, permaculture kind of expert, I guess. He's a bit of a homesteading guru. And it was a couple months ago, I guess, when I got my chickens that I stay in the coop. Get in there. That I realized that get in there. That my chickens really don't like to eat dry grains or even layer pellets and mash. I'm not sure why it is, but they just don't like to. Mind you, they're in there right now making a fool out of me. But you can see them picking at that U-shaped feeder. It's kind of a gravity feed system. But generally they don't like to eat from there. They like to eat wet grains or soaked grains. And I watched it on one of Justin's videos where he said he saved about 10 or 15% of his food costs by soaking them. So I thought, these guys don't eat their food. I'm not getting very good egg production. And they can't be just free ranging all the time when people are not around. It's one thing when I'm home. I can keep a bit of an eye on them, but I do live in the country, surrounded by bush. We have hawks and ravens and fox and coyotes and cats and other dogs, and I don't want to lose my chickens because of that. So I had to come up with an option, and his video kind of helped me out when he mentioned soaking the grains. So I feed my chickens layer pellets or layer crumble. It really doesn't make much of a difference now that I'm soaking them. But what I do is I'll take a scoop or two, and it doesn't really matter the measurements, kind of based on how much food your chicken eats, or your chickens, I should say, eat in, say, 2 or 3 days. Or maybe you got to do this daily sort of thing. But with the layer crumbles and pellets, it's really easy. I take 1 scoop, like I said, or 2 scoops. I put them in a 5-gallon bucket. I cover the grain or the crumble up with water. I kind of give it a little stir. I add a bit more water so that I know I'm going to get a mash, sort of like grits, I guess. Not super slimy and watery, but thick like mashed potatoes, I guess would be a good terminology. And I take 2 big cups, I dump them into a little pail, I store it all in my my garden shed, and I come and put it down on the, not sure if you can see it, below the waterer there. There's just an old sheet tray from like baking, cookie tray. I just slop it down on that, and they eat it. And for my 6 chickens, those 2 cups is pretty much enough for feed wise. And they very seldom eat that food, the dry food. I used to have to fill that up once a week. I'd add about 3 gallons of food. Now I'm filling it up every 3 weeks or so, and it's not even 3 gallons. So I'm saving quite a bit of food. It used to be about 3 weeks to a bag of feed. Now I'm getting probably closer to 5 weeks, at least 4 weeks. So I'm probably closer to 30% savings. They still drink a lot of water, which is fine because I'm on a well, so water for the most part's free, other than the hydro costs, I guess. And I do have rain barrels that I could easily save my water, but that's what I like to do. These chickens love it. When I don't do that for a few days, my egg production drops. From 5 or 6 eggs, it'll drop down to 2 or 3 eggs, maybe 4 eggs if I'm lucky. And if I can just come and do that every day, every morning or even evening, they clean it up pretty quick. And it's good because when my wife and kids are around, they don't really feel like spending a bunch of time watching the chickens run around, and they like to go up on the deck and crap, and that kind of annoys my wife. So this way, having those wet crumble or pellets really makes the chickens eat a lot less food, but our egg production stays high. So just thought I'd share that tip with anyone watching. I mean, if Justin Rhodes tells you something, you can probably take it to the bank. But I have tried it, and I've tried different whole grains, soaking them, whatever, and nothing really works except for soaking my layer pellet or my layer crumble in water, just to getting it to like a mashed potato consistency. And then I just slop it down, and they'll scratch it and fling it and toss it around. And if today I put, say, 2 cups down and there's some in the morning or that night, I'll only put 1 cup down the next day. And if they're a little bit hungry, so be it. They're going to have to eat the dry stuff, or they're going to have to do a better job of eating that moist stuff when I put it out. So now I find as soon as I open up that shed door, they come running over there and they meet me out at the chicken coop. So if you're having issues with your chickens eating their food, maybe water's the answer. We'll see you in the next one.